because I'd like to invite a closing speaker for this session, just to round up this conversation and close it very well for us. Please help me welcome on the stage to do this honor, Guangzhe Chen, the Vice President for Infrastructure from the World Bank. Please welcome him onto the stage with a round of applause. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished panelists, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It's a really honor to join you. I will keep my remark very brief because I know I'm standing between this session and the reception that you all deserve after a long day. I think a lot of the ideas and experience have been shared by our distinguished panelists, particularly about moving to implementation. Since I represent the World Bank, I'm going to perhaps focus on one aspect which some of the panelists is already covered, which is the financing. How do we focus on, how do we sort of close the financing gap for this very important agenda? But before I begin, I do want to extend our deepest appreciation to the Kingdom of Morocco and the World Health Organization for hosting this conference and for the critical work in advancing global road safety, as well as my colleague in many of the multilateral development banks that continue to drive these innovative and collaborative solutions. We all know that the devastating impact on road crashes, the 1.2 million deaths translated into we have lost one life for 24 seconds. So by the time I finish my remark, we have lost more than a dozen people on this globe. And that's not acceptable. And road safety is first and foremost a health issue, but the benefit of investing in road safety goes much beyond. Safe, efficient, and sustainable road network create jobs, improving air quality, and expand access to education, to health, and to living standards, improving living standards. And despite all these wide-ranging impacts, road safety remains critically underfunded, particularly in low and low-middle-income countries. Without urgent investments and effective policy, progress will stall and this preventable crisis will persist. And the rich discussion in this conference really underscore the challenge, but also the opportunity of generating additional funding and financing for life-saving road safety interventions. The road safety funding gap is formidable, I mentioned, but it recently estimated to achieve the UN's sustainable goal of halving the road safety fatality by 2030 will require at least $400 billion over a 10-year period. Bridging this gap is an urgent priority, particularly for, again, low and low-middle-income countries with limited budget. For our part, the multi-development banks have played an important role by providing development financing for road safety projects, and national government can also scale up. Importantly, this project delivers not just financing, but also technical expertise and knowledge to countries. I'm pleased to know that despite this challenge, between 2018 and 2024, MDB collectively have mobilized over $6 billion for road safety financing in low and low-middle-income countries, significantly reduce fatality and serious injuries. But we estimate that our collective road safety financing could reach $10 billion over the next decade. Talking about the World Bank, since 2010, we have committed about $4 billion dedicated on road safety projects. The recent financing in Bangladesh, the $360 million for Bangladesh road safety project, is the largest standalone project ever approved by the World Bank. And besides our traditional project-based financing, we're also deploying result-based and policy-based lending instruments to support road safety. And much of this financing has been catalyzed by the World Bank's Global Road Safety Facility, the GISF, and they have a booth in the exhibition hall. And if you're not familiar with that, I encourage you to stop by. And this juncture, I want to recognize the contribution, the financier donor to GIS, including the Bloomberg Philanthropies, Total Energy, Foundation and the UK government. Their contribution reflects a shared commitment to make road safety for all. And I will invite others to join us as well. The establishment of the new Global Safety Unit under my vice presidency, and also a commitment to embedding road safety into our road project design and appraisal. This is a requirement that the World Bank project is reflecting our dedication to these agendas. While MDB financing is vital, it alone cannot bridge the $400 billion road safety funding gap. Governments should continue to prioritize road safety investment within their roads and the traffic enforcement and health budget, and as the case of good practice countries that have demonstrated in these conferences. But in parallel, we also must help them to explore other funding sources. One emerging source of this to pursue, I think the MP from Sweden mentioned about the sustainable financing market, the road safety bond, which could align investment with sustainable objectives. Sustainable bond issuing have grown rapidly in recent years, with the annual issuance exceeding $1 trillion. But of course, not all of that is dedicated for road safety, for many other sustainable objectives. But road safety could also cover a portion of that particular funding. And the government can leverage this large financial market, and I'm pleased to announce that the World Bank has just launched a guide to help government to access it. The guide identifies eligible road projects and align them with the green and social category under the international capital and loan market principles. And as we speak, just 2 days ago, we have announced we also introduced what we call weighted criteria in World Bank funded civil work procurements for road projects. And of that, weighted criteria will include road safety into that criteria in terms of making procurement decisions. The World Bank MDB are ready to work with the government to access sustainable finance market and issue road safety bond. I reflect that 5 years ago when I attended the Stockholm Global Conference on Road Safety, we talked about this subject of road safety bond, sustainable financing. And I'm pleased to share with you, over these past couple of years, we have done quite a bit of work, including issuance of 3 road safety bonds over the last couple of years. The amount is not huge, but I think we make an inroad into making it possible. And of course, along with that, we also produce knowledge, and one of those, it was a report that we launched during this conference called on financing road safety. This is the report. Again, you can get this report in our GIS booth. So in closing, I have a call for action. This is a moment to embrace the new financing avenues and foster collaborations among governments, MDBs, private sector, civil society organizations to close the road safety funding gap. The Marrakesh Declaration has set the stage. Let's act with urgency to scale investments, drive policy change, strengthen institutions, and implement the life-saving solutions. I thank you for your attention, and thank you for your contribution to this conference.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Chen. Thank you for that closing remark.